So here are John Paul Miller's videos that he posted, parts 1 through 4 so far. And from what I can gather, True Crime Re has asked him some questions and he decided to respond this way. I don't know this for a fact. It's just I kind of read it in passing or heard her say it, something to that effect. But either way, this is John Paul, and this is what he got to say.
Greetings, everybody. I am here to let you know that my silence is nothing more than wisdom and self-control so that we can win the war that is up ahead. And I am looking forward to presenting over 350 pieces of proof on what Micah thinks about her family and what Micah thinks about her lawyer and the things her lawyer's saying and the things that her family's saying and Charlotte and all these other people that are saying things. People forget that Micah corresponded with me more than anybody else on planet Earth. And I know her heart. And I have her text messages, and we're going to disprove all the lies that are out there. And there's so many lies, it seems like everybody thinks the world is flat. And you ask them why, and they say, well, it says on the news the world's flat. Or, Robbie Stinky Harvey said that it's flat. Or JLR Never Investigates says that it's flat. But when I get to court, I'm going to show you that the world is round. And you're going to be shocked at some of the things that you see that Micah says. And we're going to find out actually who is responsible for my wife's death. And Micah will have justice when it's all said and done, and I'm going to make sure of it. So thank
Now this is very interesting. He's saying that we're going to find out who actually is responsible for Micah's death. Now, when he announced her death, he said that it was self-induced, and we're sure more facts are going to come out about that, or more details later. But he said that before the police had even announced it. And I mean, I know he knows that his sermons are recorded and posted, but it wasn't absolutely necessary for him to even give a cause. I don't know really anybody who, while making the first public announcement, and it has not been made official how she passed, why they would go ahead and say that. But I mean, he's weird. So, but either way, this is the first time that I'm hearing him speak to something different. Is he just joining the bandwagon? Is he just trying to follow the trend? And he's like, hey, everybody else get money. Everybody else getting attention. Let me get some of this too. I think he's trying to make sure that he remains, like he becomes infamous. But he's going to get justice for Micah. And find out who was the cause of her passing. Does he really mean that, or is he just saying it? Is he just like trolling everybody?
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless.
God bless you too, man. All right, part 2. She has a long intro for this to be TikTok. Wow. Okay, we get it.
Hey everybody, tonight's video is going to be a little bit more lighthearted than normal. The goal is to debunk a different lie every night, and the Francis family has given me a lot to work with, so it's going to take a while. But don't believe anything that I say just because I say it. That's as foolish as you believing what they say just because they say it. You need to look for proof and truth. And so tonight we're going to deal with something that Michael Francis said. Micah, my wife, had 7 days. I think her mom's married 7 times. Michael Francis is the biological father, and he said the other day on some show something to the effect.
I know a lot of people think he's being petty by mentioning that she was married 7 times, but I think it's relevant, and I see why he would do that. And I guess we'll find out more as we hear more of what he has to say about the family and Micah's relationship with them. Because 7 husbands, I'm pretty sure some of that occurred during Micah's childhood. That's a lot of men to go through. I mean, how do you get married 7 whole times? Wow.
Of Micah's, one of her tattoos, my name that's my signature that is tattooed on her body. He inferred that meant that I owned her and that I was controlling and manipulative, and I made her get that tattoo so I could brand her and stamp her and say that she belongs to me. And that's not really how it worked. The first time she got my signature tattooed on her, it was when we were dating. And I was actually in New York on a vacation, and she sent me a picture of what she had done, and I was surprised. A few weeks later, we broke up, and she covered it up with a lotus flower. And then we got married, and then a few years later,
A lot of people are saying he was more devastated about her covering up the tattoo than about her actual passing. And I didn't see anything change here to show that he's devastated that she covered it up. No big deal, it happens. Why would he be devastated when she went right back and got another one? Y'all just... Yeah. But why is he red, though? Why is he flushed? What's up with that?
got my signature tattooed on the other side of her body. But I don't think that it means that I was controlling and manipulative. I don't think it means that I owned her. I don't think it was a brand or anything I forced her to do. It was completely her idea. And I don't know why Michael would think that. But if you do think that's what it means, if somebody has, someone else's name, their signature even, tattooed on their body.
JP, do us a favor. I'm hoping you watch my videos. I'm on the side of the truth, to be honest. And we know Michael wasn't no saint. Okay? Everybody's pointing you out to be the bad guy. And the only bad guy, along with your crew. But Michael was a bad guy too. Okay? Do me a favor. Most of us can't stand your voice. And it's no more fun either looking at you. Do your best to present your best. Give us your best angles. Okay? Whatever you're flustered about, do something about that. Because it's distracting. And it just leaves, for us to want to know, what? Do you have high blood pressure? Are you nervous? Are you raging on the inside? Why are you flushed like that? Something's up with that. Okay? That's indicative of something going on in your body. All right. Give us your best angles. Okay. I am not one who subscribes to your teeth are supposed to be pearly white and what people call straight. If there was a such thing as perfect teeth, we've been born with them. Everybody's teeth are different. I believe that is a genetic pattern. Identifying markers in the way your teeth are built. And we know that there's other things that can occur or exist within you to change the way your teeth are shaped. But yours, we don't want to look all in your mouth. Your nose, it's just, it's looking kind of big and kind of oinky at this angle. Get your camera set up right. Give us a better angle. Maybe one of your sides is the better side. Maybe you can do straightforward, straight on, but just kind of, know how to have the camera height properly and tilt your head. Get some advice. You got enough money and you got enough teammates. Somebody know how to get you the best angles. Do that for us. Okay? So we can have a better time listening and watching your videos. We already got to hear your voice, JP. All right, give us something to work with. Let the ladies be like, well, he's kind of cute. You don't want them to say that? Of course you do. Come on now.
If you think it means that person owns them and, that they are over them and they're controlling, then what would you say, Michael, about this? And whose idea do you think that?
Now, a lot of people are saying that this is new. A lot of people are saying that it's fake. They're saying it's a press-on tattoo. I didn't know they came in cursive writing. That's interesting. Some people are saying it doesn't match up to her signature on the power of attorney. Well, isn't it true that that wasn't her signature? Isn't that what was said? It was signed on a different date as the notary, which makes it not legal, first of all. But allegedly, she wasn't even the one who signed it. I don't know. And people can write different signatures, because I know I do. Whatever y'all think that means, who cares? But it doesn't look to be years and years old. However, I'm not a tattoo expert, so I cannot state that as fact. You see how easy that was for me to do? Instead of saying it's new or it's fake, I don't know any of that for a fact. Okay? I can't base it off of my tattoos. My body's different and my skin is different. The ink could have been different. The procedure could have been different. All kind of things that can change how good a tattoo looks on someone as far as looking newish. This looks recent. It doesn't look brand spanking new, right? I don't see it's in a healing stage, but it doesn't look super old. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really matter. It would just be another minor thing about John Paul. That's John Paul. For him to say, look, I had this tattoo this whole time, and he didn't. That really don't help out much if you're trying to figure out was he involved with her passing in more ways than we actually have proof of, as far as the abuse and things like that. But as far as was he there, what did he orchestrate it, things like that, this tattoo can't really. Okay, so I don't know why y'all spending too much time on the tattoo, but whatever.
It was.
I would like to know why he wearing that wedding ring, though. They were separated, and he's a whore. Part 3.
Hey everyone, tonight we will deal with the fact that I preached the day after my wife passed and the announcement that I made. Before that, I just want to talk about the tattoo from the other night. The tattoo that had her signature. It was got.
Hey man, listen, I like this. JP, keep it up. Okay, you even responding to the responses that you got on the last video. All right, and you get ready to talk about why you preached the day after finding out she passed away. Come on with it, man. Look at you coming through for the one time with the Back to the Future shirt on. Go ahead now. Listen, I like that he's into stuff like this. He's into the old school. He's into the Marvel and shit like that. I don't know. If John Paul probably could be a cool person if he wasn't so everything else, right?
Back in January with her, she wanted a very, very thick wedding band tattooed on her wedding finger, so that when she was working out or we were on vacation, when she didn't have a ring, she let everybody know she was still married. That is not something that someone who's being abused does, but she wanted that tattoo and she wanted me to get her signature, so I showed up and did it.
Well, John Paul, that's not true. People who are abused do a lot of things to try and for different reasons, but I'm just giving an example of why someone who's abused would want to get a thick wedding band tattooed on their finger. First of all, they don't want for any guy to hopefully approach them, although we know they still will, they don't care. But hopefully to deter guys from approaching them, because who knows, you could be watching or having her watch them. Somebody could go back and say, Micah was seen talking to a man and it looked like he was flirting with her. Okay? Don't nobody want that static at home if you're being abused. Secondly, it could be a gesture to show you, hey, you don't got to treat me so bad. I'm with you. I'm married to you. I rock with you. I love you. And I want everybody to know it. Ring or no ring. It's right here. Why you got to treat me? Why you treat me so bad? You want another reason? Okay, chill out with all that, John Paul. Make sure you double, triple check your statements before you make them. All right? Because I'm rooting for you now. Don't do these responses and come out looking like an egghead, okay? Don't do that.
The reason I preached the day after she passed, the night before that midnight, I had 5 people in my house telling me not to preach, that I would be crazy for doing it. I didn't listen, and it's because at first I didn't believe it. I spent the past 3.5 months doing everything I could to keep her alive. My goal was every single day to find somebody, some way to get her medicine, because I told them that she...
Okay. This is not the first time that I've heard him speak about him trying to get her medicine. He did say when he announced her passing, he was trying to get her medicine. It was difficult getting her medicine to her. He said the church knew about it. So that's another thing that lines up with what he's saying right now. Also, when he says he didn't believe it, just like when he talked at her funeral and he was saying he thought he could raise her. He saw the sister. He thought it was Micah. He still doesn't believe. It's not easy to accept the fact that someone who you love very much, who you're close to, who you've been with for years, is gone. That's not easy. It takes a lot. You got to sometimes make your brain process and accept that information. It's a big difference between somebody living and walking in their body and that body just being there, but that person is no longer there and able to live and walk again. You know what I'm saying? That's not something, it's easy to accept and accept. That's why they have stages of grief and all this other kind of stuff. Grief is hard. It's like the most devastating thing ever. So that's no big deal. It doesn't matter how many people are there and saying, yes, she's gone and this wouldn't be a good look and all this kind of stuff. If someone that doesn't even want to accept something like that, and why would they? Then heck yeah, they still going to be like, hell no. I'm not getting ready to just fall in line with y'all and be like, oh yeah, Mike is gone. No, he could have very well, even if he had something to do with it, on top of that, he could have still been to the point where he like, I actually can't believe she's actually gone. So
she was going to commit suicide if she didn't get her lithium. And I went to her pastors, counselors, doctors, policemen, judges, friends, family, roommates, everybody you could possibly think of, and nobody believed me. So to get that call that night that it happened, I'm sure you can imagine what a failure I felt like, as well as this just can't be true. It became my worst nightmare. There's no way. And so I thought,
I don't know. How can nobody believe him when he's been telling everybody for years, not just the past 3 months before she passed, but for years? He's often made narratives that she's unstable mentally and suicidal. And what about the video from her being in Africa, talking about one time she actually attempted and pulled trigger and it didn't happen though? What about him getting her committed? Somebody had to believe you for you to be able to do that. So I just and I'm pretty sure there's records to back it up, because how does the doctor explain her being on that medication? So I don't know about you tried to help her and nobody wouldn't believe you. I just what kind of ways were you trying to help her? Maybe they didn't believe that the way you was trying to call yourself helping her was safe for her and good for her. Maybe they didn't agree with you there. I mean, you can have your perception of things, JP, but from the evidences that we've seen so far, you were very unhealthy for her. And you can cause undue stress upon a person to make them appear irrational and out of whack. Even being on medications, and especially if they don't need those medications, it's going to affect them. And, a lot of these medications can cause you to be depressed and suicidal and unstable. They alter your brain cells. That's a big deal. So, carry on.
Maybe the family was playing a trick on me or something. The other side of it was, I thought if it is true, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do anything. I want to just keep living my life as if it never happened. because I was not ready to believe that it happened. So the next day I preached like a fool, and then I made my announcement for everybody to be quiet and leave, because like a moment of silence, like you do, in respect. I did it kind of like, I don't want anybody to be talking about, suicide or mental illness or asking me questions, or I just want them to leave and go talk to Jesus about it and then talk to me at some later date. I was not prepared to deal with any of it at all. I'm sure you cannot imagine what it's like to be trying your best to keep somebody alive and then to find out they passed. And
Actually, I do. I had a mother that was addicted to crack cocaine. From the time I was 12 years old on up until I was 29, and she actually passed away from it. So I have plenty of years of experience in trying to prevent someone from doing harm to themselves and leaving this earth before they should. And it's still happening. So I understand what you're saying. But JP, do me a favor. If you haven't answered this in the upcoming videos, answer a question for me. Why do you wear the wedding ring? Okay, I get it. Grief, she's gone, blah, blah, blah. That could do a number on you. However, you and Micah were separated. And although you seemed to not want to accept it at the time, and you wanted to try to, I guess, force or trick her into coming back home, you were seeing other women. So why do you still wear the wedding ring? Because she's long gone now. Answer that for me.
And then how do you handle yourself in that next 24, 48 hours? I don't think there's a manual on that. So if it offends anybody, I apologize, but I did the best I could with what I had. And God bless.
Well, you do know that there's evidence, and evidence that doesn't show that. If anything, it shows that you, if she did do it, helped push her to it. In fact, the evidence against you looked so bad that a lot of people truly believe that you actually had direct involvement in her passing. So, I don't, again, know what reality you're in, but from the outside looking in, this is the reality that a lot of us are in. Okay? All right. Part 4. True Crime. Riri asks John Paul Miller your questions, and here he is.
Okay, logical thinkers out there, here we go. Help me understand why. After my wife passed away, I texted the family telling them I would pay for all their travel expenses. They asked me for $2,500 and then $1,000, so I gave them $3,500. 7 minutes after the check was cashed, they posted on Facebook.
Wait a minute, slow down. The text messages that they showed us from you after her passing, I believe you just text this the very next day. It's showing you blaming them for her passing. It sounded like a lot of hostility in those text messages. So, did you text them and tell them this before those texts or after? Did you pay them that money before or after? And can you post proof of payment exchange? Post the text messages that you sent. You're talking about them. They've already posted their side. So, John, you must know that your word is not going to be enough. Regardless of whether or not you're disliked right now, the situation is too questionable and other parties have come with evidence, okay? And the family has posted correspondences between you guys that don't add up to what you're saying. It's completely the opposite. So if you're going to say anything against what the family has said or posted, you got to come with receipts. That's how the internet works, by the way. It's about them receipts, baby. You capping if you don't have those receipts, okay? Do your research on what capping means, because that's you right now. I don't see any receipts in your hand, okay? All right.
They needed money from all of you for their travel expenses. Help me understand why. I texted the entire family and said I'd love for you to come and see Micah's body. Here's the times that the funeral home says is best. They thumbed up the message, and about an hour after that, they posted on Facebook that I would not let them see Micah's body. Please help me understand that. They said I forced them to sign some cremation paper that I didn't.
Wait a minute. Oh, slow down, John. Slow down. Wow, these are big contradictions. You gotta have the receipts, okay? Because if you think that we're this much of a fool, you got the wrong internet, okay? You gonna have to try somebody else's internet, not Kanye West's internet, okay? All right? This is not your church, baby. I'm just telling you, okay? I'm just telling you, it don't work like that on the internet, all right? If you gonna say you gave them money and they went directly after that and posted that they need help, I remember her saying she needed help getting her mom here, blah, blah, blah. Post the receipts, okay? If you are saying that you text them and invited them to come see the body, which I don't know why you would need to do that. It's a given that they're gonna come. If anything, you can text them, okay, this is the funeral home where she's being held at, so that they'll know where to go. But you don't got to invite the family. Your wording here is kind of suspect. You don't have to invite her mother, father, sisters, brother, friends. Well, maybe friends, okay? Because a lot of people limit who can see a deceased right away. And most people have to wait until formal viewings. So we get all that. But you're not texting her mother and father and sisters and brothers, inviting them to see her body. Tell me that's not what you're saying, John Paul. Okay? We need receipts, sweetheart. And now you get ready to talk about the cremation? So you're going to deny what they said about the cremation, John Paul? Oh, my goodness, Lord.
Nothing about, had no idea what they were talking about. Days later, I was given this piece of paper that the mom and dad both signed saying they wanted Micah to be cremated, and they chose to have that, which I totally agreed with because of the way that she passed away. I thought that was what was best, but nobody forced them to sign anything, and I don't even know what they're talking about with that. They said that I pushed the cremation to happen quickly to hide things. The national average is 3 days because after that the body starts to smell. She was cremated.
Okay. Because if the body's going to be cremated, there's no need in doing embalming and all of that. So it's going to deteriorate faster. Cremations are usually done quickly. That's part of the perk of getting a cremation. So you're good on that. But are you actually telling us that you did not initiate the cremation? The family did? The family that from the start has told us that they don't ever believe she did this to herself? Now, I'm not going to call you no liar, John Paul. Because for the life of me, I cannot understand why they would ever willingly sign anything to say she can be cremated. You got to put up every fight in the world before you do that. I mean, it has to be done kicking and screaming. You're not going to tell me I can't see my sister or my daughter unless I sign a paper to have her cremated. I don't care who or what. Also, with the situation where the power of attorney is questionable as far as the validity. The fact that you two were separated. They had a lot of different avenues they could go with this. And grief is not even something that we're going to give them grace on. The sister was already on Facebook saying, Mom, if you're coming and you're grieving, then you're going to have to understand we're not ready to grieve. We're in fight mode. Something to that effect. So they was in fight mode. Okay, well, that contradicts us hearing that you signed paperwork saying, okay, you can cremate her just so John Paul can let you see her, who shouldn't have the authority to stop you from doing that in the first place. So I'm definitely wanting to get down to the bottom of that. But John, again, baby, we need receipts. That's the only way we working with you, with receipts. Listen, we gonna stop watching you. We gonna stop posting your videos. Okay? We gonna stop talking about your videos. Cause see, y'all, that's the best way to deal with somebody like John Paul. If you want us to take you seriously, brother, the only way that's going to happen is if you come with receipts. If you don't come with receipts, then you playing games. And if you think for a second you're about to play the same games with us that you did with Micah and who knows who else, you got another thing coming. The only people that's going to work with is the people who are clickbaiting out here, who are definitely using Micah's story for profit. And I normally don't talk like that because I'm a content creator. Anything you want to talk about is anything you want to talk about. And nobody shouldn't, oh, you just doing that to make money. Well, I ain't doing it because I don't want to get a coin. So, but that wouldn't be the only reason, right? Because social media don't pay enough. Is they crazy? But there's a lot of people spreading a lot of lies as if they were truth. And in fact, saying that they know it's true. And it can't be possible. You cannot sit up here and say, I know for a fact this person was in on it. This person was gang stalking her. This person, I know this for a fact. And these content creators are saying a lot of stuff as if it's fact. And they are literally saying, I know this for a fact. I know this to be true. I am absolutely sure of it. Okay? You can't do that. All right, they're just posting lies without doing any research, and I'm wondering where the heck did they come from? Where the heck did they come from? And another thing is the people who fully support them, try to help them grow, keep posting their stuff, and keep supporting them without saying, stop repeating stuff as if it's fact when you haven't verified it as a fact. But we get it. There's no integrity. However, these are the only people that are going to give you any type of play, homeboy. I just want you to know that. Anybody who is serious and cares about what the truth is in this situation, we're going to ignore you. We're going to talk about you the same way we've been talking about you, honey. But your personal videos that you posting right now, they can only come with receipts or you will be on the mute list. And if you don't know what that is, you can look that up too. All right, Cat Daddy.
6 days after she passed away, so that her ashes would be ready for the funeral the next day. While the family was there, I told the funeral director, I said, let them know that I'll pay for all the urns that they want, with the ashes in it. I'll pay for jewelry. Like this stainless steel cross has Micah's ashes inside. It's the only ashes I have. They have all the rest. The funeral director called me and said the bill's going to be $18,000. I said, why? He said, they all picked out 24 karat gold jewelry.
Wait a minute. So y'all didn't even have a funeral and the bill was $18,000? Wow.
I said, please call them back and let them know that if I'm paying, they got to get the cheap stuff. And it was still well over $10,000. But I didn't mind because the way you treat people is not based on the people. The way you treat people is based on your own heart. And so if you could help me understand the answers to those questions, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Okay. John Paul allegedly got a lot of money. He could have paid for it, but he don't have to. He didn't have to offer it all. If he offered. All right, so let me block this music out because this is going to get me a copyright. Okay. So John Paul says that they wanted the expensive ones. Well, I mean, you can't blame them for that. I understand. I understand. However, how about as soon as I put my windows up, they pull off? However, please tell us, what do you mean by the cheap stuff? You mean like a stainless steel like yours? I mean, because that's reasonable. That's reasonable. But we don't want to go try to shame them or anything because they wanted gold or whatever made it cost that much. I mean, it's we all can understand how people can be when someone they love is passed. Okay, people go out to funerals and say, I want the best casket, I want all this, I want the funeral, blah 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 blah, all the fixings and trimmings. I don't understand all that, as far as like I wouldn't do it or want it for myself, but we get why people would do that in grieving, and why some people who are alive want their funerals to be the bombazee. Some people like big weddings too. Okay, so what do you mean by the cheap stuff? Like, hey, I'm gonna do this just to have it like go on my record, but y'all can get some, like dollar store type jewelry. I mean, are you saying they need the bottom of the barrel stuff? Are you saying, of course you need something that's quality and not gonna fade or rust, but don't go getting top shelf, because that's not what kind of party this is. Like, don't be disrespectful. All right, so I paused the song. That was a cool song though. Okay. Just to read some of these, so far from what I could read, it looks like it's she's posting facts here. Just to get y'all some kind of idea, especially if you're not too familiar with this case, as to why people may think that this guy had something to do with her passing. So it says Micah filed for divorce and a protective order 48 hours before she was found. Yes, he was served on the 25th and she passed away on the 27th. In her final week, she made plans to get her hair cut, to get help with her car payment. She was short after paying the divorce attorney. And she planned a meeting with friends at a church service on Sunday, April 27th. On Saturday, April 27th, Micah was last seen dressed in uniform leaving for her shift at J. Peters, a local restaurant. Okay? 3 days later, her husband is seen and photographed at Coastal Grand Mall, going into a sushi restaurant with his supposed girlfriend, Susie. He is looking right into the camera. 4 days later, he is seen and photographed in a restaurant called King Street Grill, which, side note, is kind of odd because he knows he's a public figure. He knows he's kind of a big deal where he's at, well known at least. And he knows that, hey, my wife just passed away. He knows people are going to clock him. And even if they weren't checking for him, if they see him, they might be like, dang, what you doing out here just chilling, having a good time? So, yet he still chose to partake in these activities, okay? Maybe he wanted to press. All right? So, it also says that she, Susie, is looking at the camera with her eyebrows raised and her hand over her mouth. It looked like she was looking at him during that part. Yeah. So it says Sunday, April the 28th, Micah was discovered with a GSW in Lumberton, North Carolina, and 1.5 hours away from home. So technically, was it Sunday? No, it was Saturday, because she called at 2:40, I think, p.m. So yeah, and John Paul got the notification that night, so that was Saturday. It was the 27th. Okay, Sunday he went to church and preached and announced it. So it says hours later, her husband holds a worship service as normal for 28-24. After the service, he makes an announcement about Micah's passing, directing all attendants not to discuss in the building as they are leaving, and that has since been removed from YouTube. Well, all the scrutiny, I can imagine. However, guys, a lot of y'all are making a big deal that he told them not to discuss it in the church afterwards and just leave. I don't get why y'all making a big deal out of it, because let's say I would make the same announcement if I was, in a situation where I had to. I would say the same thing. I'm telling y'all because I think it's appropriate for me to tell y'all right now, instead of you going out here and finding out somewhere else. That's what he said, actually. And that's respectful. But I don't want y'all sitting around chit-chatting about it or trying to approach me and ask me anything. Just please go ahead and exit. Whatever you do outside these doors, that's on you. He didn't say don't go out here and tell nobody. Don't go out here and talk about it. None of that. Keep it to yourself. He didn't say that. He said, please don't stay and discuss it here. I'm going to ask you to kindly go ahead and leave. To me, that is a reasonable request. It makes sense. I don't get it, but y'all be tripping. So, it says May the 1st, 2024, JP informed a news outlet that he could no longer participate in a previously scheduled interview as he was leaving town for a few days. May the 3rd, 2024, Solid Rock Church, owned by JP, has permanently closed. That doesn't make any sense, because it did not. And it's still open. But, okay, that's what you want to post. But this was posted on May the 4th, so there's that. So it says May 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. An arrest was made at the Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach. Who got arrested? I didn't know nothing about that. Okay, and so here it is. True Crime Re said that she got the videos statements directly from John Paul Miller in response to her request for his side of the story. Well, good, John Paul. You look at you. Okay. First, he hops on a creator's platform, and later called him JLR. Never investigates, and he called the other guy stinky. Okay, so I was going through some of the comments under his videos that were posted to see if there was any gold in here. I see one that I want to address, and then I'm going to be done. All right, so someone said, where's the proof? She didn't spell correctly, but that's just my pet peeve. That's all. Someone said it must not be in the 350 pieces of proof he claimed he was going to share. And then somebody else said, because he does have defenders in these comments, which I kind of expected. This person says he doesn't owe the public anything. If it goes to court, he'll bring the receipts. He doesn't owe us anything. Are you the spokesperson? Because that sounds pretty direct. If it goes to court, he'll bring the receipts. So you're speaking for him? And how are you coming in saying he doesn't owe the public anything when all this time John Paul hasn't really been saying anything, and he decided to come on and speak on the live? He decided to come on and do these responses, and he started with he's going to have over 350 pieces of proof. Okay. He also said that he's going to debunk a lie every night. So why would you come on here and say he don't owe the public anything, baby? Let me explain something to you. In order for him to debunk a lie, he has to disprove it, or he has to prove that what he is saying is correct and it is the opposite of what the person is saying, which shows that it's a lie. That's the only way that that's going to happen. Again, he came on here and made this announcement. Are you okay? So someone else says he thinks that by telling his side that's the proof. And there is no actual proof. Someone else says, was it not his claim to bring 350 pieces of proof and then not deliver Tracy? Tracy is the person that's over here speaking for John Paul. Hey, 350, did he count them literally, or is he just like being exaggerative? Like, what's going on? So Tracy comes back. You got time, don't you, baby? Oh, please. How many hours a night do you want them to spend? Who is them? I'm sorry. Who is them? Was that a typo? Was that a slip up? Are you trying to tell us that JP is not doing this on his own? It's actually a little crew he got working with him? Okay. He doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't owe us anything. Okay, you said that twice. All right, cool. You said it in a previous comment, so now you're still saying it and saying it and saying it. Well, damn, you must be part of that crew. And the person says, well, and honestly, if Jesus told you, you wouldn't believe him. Well, some people probably wouldn't. However, don't you think that's a bit of stretch? Because the argument here is that he came and decided to tell us that he was going to be dropping bombs on it, like Hiroshima, baby. And he came out here and he couldn't even pass gas. I'm just saying. So, this person says you don't want to believe him no matter what. You already have your mind set. A lot of people lack critical thinking and reasoning. It's very sad, but here's a good news. The experts they have that they're looking at, okay, boy, if you don't go back and write this correctly, shame on you. Okay, but the critical thinking and reasoning falls short when you are not thinking critically and reasoning with the fact that people are complaining because homeboy said he was going to post all this proof and he ain't posting no proof. But you over here trying to criticize somebody and criticize. Are you serious? So somebody called Tracy a flying monkey. And they said, you believe in him. And then talking about people lacking critical thinking skills is the most ironic thing I've ever seen. Okay. Somebody said they just noticing how pointy his ears are. Are you serious? This is like one of the first things I noticed about JP, that nose and the ears. Here go Tracy again. And quite honestly, everything is done before the viewing anyway, because it's very difficult for family to have to do these things after that and say goodbye. Everything like what? What are you talking about? Why don't you just stop? Child, ain't nobody paying no attention. Somebody said you gotta block Millie. And where's the proof? Because nobody's just taking your word for anything. And this goes without saying. So I don't know why this Tracy person is in here trying to argue these. Y'all, you don't have a reason to be coming for people in this comment section, homegirl. Okay? Now he had her cremated because of the way she passed. Earlier he stated it's what he and Micah wanted if they passed. Well, we gotta word this correctly, y'all. Come on now. Y'all be just doing too much sometimes, and I don't know why your brain don't be hurting. Actually, JP said that the family wanted to have her cremated, and he said he agreed because of the way she passed. He said, and plus, me and Micah always talked about how, we want to go and how we want our stuff done, which is common conversation for married people. And he said that they believe in cremation. Both expressed that they wanted cremation because they believe the body is just, it ain't nothing. Once you're done with that body, you're done with it. And I'm rocking with that. I mean, he feels like having your head blown open, okay, is not presentable to anybody. It's not the same as passing away in your sleep. So I can get how he can say both, and they both can be correct and proper. Okay? So she says exactly, but keep speaking your web of lies, Spider-Man. Oh, God, that was funny. I agree. Funerals are very expensive, and $10,000 is average cremation. Child, $10,000 can be a funeral too. I'm just saying, or it could be the plot. It don't have to be as expensive as some people make it. Said, but didn't he also speak of his future funeral and being in a casket? But they both wanted cremation. Child, I don't know, but who cares? Time is ticking down and he knows it. Contradictions in his own statements and retell the narrative. He is feeling concerned and letting the veil slip. And that is a very telling sign of narcissism. I am definitely going to agree with you guys that he may be a little narcissistic because he doing these videos. Now, JP, if you'd have came out here with these videos and you'd have had proof associated with each statement you're making, especially after starting off telling us you got over 350 pieces of proof, and people was watching you for that proof, okay? Honestly, we don't care about anything else you're gonna say. There's no real jewels there, okay? There's more than enough already factual and proven about you to have us all clarify you as looking very guilty and being a horrible person, being a horrible husband. Okay? Nobody really has big doubts that you're involved in what happened to Micah, whether it be she did it or you did it or you had somebody else do it. Okay? So there's not really much you can actually literally say out your own mouth unless you outdo OJ and be like, look, I did it and this is how I did it. Not know if I would have done it or nothing like that. Because, hey, we want justice for Micah, right? And we got to hold up whoever is responsible for what happened to her responsible. So are you trying to combat the family's claims that you're this horrible person and you was this way with them and Micah, and to say, well, in fact, since we're saying that I'm responsible for her passing because either I drove her to it, I don't think he really focusing on the I was there part, because the police already made their statements and he's standing on business on that from what I believe. I believe he's coming at this because they're saying you drove her to do it if she did it. And he's trying to say, well, actually, y'all did. I think that's where he's going with this. But this video was posted, the last one, about 4 to 5 hours ago. So maybe he's going to wait. And he's like, hold up, I said one live per night. Now I done posted like a whole series already. I'm about to be up there with Reese Tisa in a minute. The Reese Pieces. And I better chill because I don't want to look too crazy. I do believe JP be talking with himself and negotiating things. And he or somebody else probably said, JP, you done did like 4 videos already. You supposed to be debunking a lot every night, not showing up and going in. Like, you pulling a marathon right now. Chill out. That's the opposite, and this ain't working. And this Tracy person, good Lord, they did let her buy a new pew-pew. JP had a track on her car to find out when she went to a GUN store. Obviously, his PI isn't the best. Or maybe the PI put the tracker on, like I said. I mean, that's a common tool that they would use. Ugh. You get the gas face. Tracy says, no, actually, the tracker was taken off the car when the tires was flattened. And that is probably why, but her family knew she was going to make that purchase, and they knew she was taking meds. Well, she wasn't taking her meds at the time, which is either equally or more dangerous. Because a lot of certain meds, you can't just stop taking them because you want to. That's not how that works. You need to let the doctor know, Doc, I hear you, but I want off. What's the best way? And so the doctor can help you to fare out better and get off of them, wean off of them, and it not harm your system, have you worse off, So there's that. But according to John Paul and others, she wasn't taking her meds. So Tracy also says she had alleged prior to that she's speaking about on a video, saying how God saved her because the firearm didn't go off. Okay, it's good you mention that, like you should. Been doing your job over here. Okay, do your job. And naturally, someone who really wants to do it is not going to tell you. That is why they are making listen, all these stories y'all be having about if somebody was going to come in, bookaboo, they wouldn't or they would boo. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Okay? First of all, let's think logically here. Guys, who are you basing this off of? Studies? Knowing someone who did it? Knowing a few people or of a few people who did it and what you think you know about that situation? There's billions of people on this planet that have not done it yet. Or at all. Okay? So you don't have enough if you're trying to base it off of what someone else who did it, how they moved. Secondly, no two circumstances are alike. Thirdly, it is the most opposite to your self-sustainment and your natural, which is the life preservation, to eliminate yourself. That's got to be the hardest thing to do in the world. Okay? So, first of all, it starts with your brain. You got to tell your brain, listen, I'm in charge today. Yeah, buddy, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. And I decided that this is what we're going to do. Now, I know you going to give me a hard time. However, I am determined, and this is what we're doing. Now, with that being said, if somebody is going to make an exit, they can do it any way they want to, and why wouldn't they? This like they tell people before they leave and get executed. What's your last meal? And what are your last words? Because they can ask to eat anything they want to. And they can literally say anything they want to. This is your last shot. Make it count. Do it how you want to do it. And if a person has decided that they're going to leave, I guarantee you they're not going to go by no certain speculations of how it should go, no protocol. You ain't going to tell them how it's supposed to go. Nobody's going to tell them how it's supposed to go, because this is the one time that for sure they are in charge and they are taking control and have full creative control over this event. So they can plan it how they want. It's their party. And they'll cry if they want to. Okay? They'll tell somebody if they want to. Because at the end of the day, some people will want certain people to know. Okay? It could be for all kind of reasons. Just to have that power to say, hey, I told you. And before you can even think about trying to do something about it, boom, I already done it, son. Some people might want to leave people with that. Okay? But you're not going to sit up here and say, if somebody want to do it, they'll do it. If somebody was going to do it, they're not going to put on their work uniform. They're not going to make plans to blah, 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 blah. She could have did all that and was like, yeah, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing my thing. I'm going to prosper. He ain't going to win. And then something happened. And she could have bipolared that shit and been like, you know what? I give up. But y'all swear by the fact that if she really was suicidal, she woulda and would not. Okay. Don't quit your day job. So Tracy says they knew she was going to purchase. Talking about Michael's family. And that they did. They knew. I'm sorry, but they knew. And with child, who are you? And with their history, I'm sorry, shaking my head. Well, if you don't get back on that short bus. Having a blankie, PL, oh, PI. Okay, so this is True Crime Re. Says having a crappy PI does not equate to MURDER. It's murder. What in the world? Am O in a different, or am I in a different dimension? Well, come on, y'all. This is too many. Tracy says, and sadly, I think that they're going to have to swallow a hard pill to swallow when reality hits. And sadly, I think that they're going to have a hard pill to swallow when reality hits. His PI put trackers on her car to make sure she never went to a GUNSHOP. Okay? We ain't talking about the candy shop. Said, well, she made it to one. And True Crime Re says, okay, and she told her father she was going to purchase one. Why wouldn't he call someone? Like, I don't know, maybe her husband, maybe the police? Okay. I didn't see that coming. However, her father said she wanted to get one for protection. Why would they call the person that they feel like she want to protect herself from and let him know? Or the POLICE? The policeman? She getting their GUN for protection. She done already tried to get them to protect her. They don't do that. I don't know why people think they do, but they don't do that. All right. So she said, why were her tires flattening again? Tracy's. That's a good one, baby. That's a good one. And pointed it dead at Tracy. That's a good one. Okay, but Tracy answering. Tracy. Are you JP? Because something in buttermilk ain't clean. Tracy says, I'm not really sure about that. I know you're going to say that JP did it. I'm not positive about that. If he claims that, then I'll follow that. He did not claim the picture, which she was not, whatever that was. Girl, if you don't get your... And I keep reading them. I keep reading the comments, too. Tracy says, I'll have to research that email again. Wow. Accusing them of her passing, but give them $3,500 to come see her body. Then by their jury? Nah, bro, we ain't buying it. Keep petting your ego and digging your hole. Hey, this coming right here. Yeah. Somebody said, he forgot about those. Tracy, she, I guess, responding to everybody. Says, so I'll get back to you on that because I don't like to put out misinformation. I don't do that. They would have the IP addresses anyway. Whatever he uploaded. But she was not naked. And the father clearly stated here, listen to it. It's his fault, the husband, that she didn't ever meds. Oh, Tracy, it's time to stop. Lucy's mom said something that I was thinking, but I ain't said. Because it would be hypocritical of me to a degree, because I myself, J. Cole, crooked smile. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't with all that. society telling you, oh, you supposed to blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they told us white was the best and blonde hair, blue eyes and all that and that. Straight hair and all that, blah, 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 blah. Ain't nobody thinking about them, whatever y'all talking about. Okay? Telling somebody how they aesthetics are supposed to be, how they body's supposed to be, how they teeth supposed to grow and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy. It's not acceptable. It's not good. It's not baller. That's not baller. Okay? You got to get veneers. You got to bleach your teeth. What the heck? Get the fuck. Alright, so she said no one, and I mean no one believes you. Do you know who defends themselves? Guilty people. You crazy as hell. Tell an innocent person ain't going to jail for life or something. They don't defend themselves? Okay, stop it. However, let's go back to Lucy's mom, because Lucy's mom is a trip. She said, all that money and you ain't got no help with your looks. It probably don't bother him. I mean, let's keep it real. He probably like, who am I trying to get acceptance for on this? Nobody gonna dictate how my teeth supposed to be. You gonna severely alter them to make them fit your standards? Like, get the fuck. She says, JP, you're not doing yourself any favors, and I'm beginning to think that not even you believe what you're saying. And just to note, bodies are refrigerated. No worries about smell. Honey, have you ever been to a morgue? Have you ever worked with bodies? Do you know what it's like when the body is out of service? And it's time for it to begin the journey back to from whence it came? Huh? Have you ever walked down the street and knew, oh, something dead over there? And no, that's roadkill, exposed to the weather and the elements, not refrigerated. However, my point remains the same, okay? Have you ever been to a morgue, refrigerated and all? You're not stopping that. That's something you're not going to mask, prolong. You know, you can maybe slow it down some. But it's happening. That is one of the most natural processes, and it's going down. And you're thinking of refrigerated bodies that have been treated, drained, and embalmed. You've refrigerated a body, just a straight raw body, because it's supposed to get cremated, so we're not doing all that. It's supposed to get burnt up. It's not going to be treated, drained, and embalmed. So that's going to make it even more potent. And those fumes are deadly. So yeah, bodies don't sit around like that, baby. If they do, it's very serious as to why they need to. Other than that, they got to go. It is a risk for everybody involved. That's just how serious it is. We're talking about the whole body breaking down. And you talking about the body could have been refrigerated and no worries on smell. Yeah, you tried. Okay, somebody says there's still some despite refrigeration. But yes, it is possible to negate most of it with refrigeration. No, not most of it. A tad tiny smithereens of a bit, baby. It is not treated. It's not even drained. Okay, I'm okay. So this person says it was you cremated her because that's what you and her wanted. Now it's because of the way she passed. Make it make sense. Y'all separating the two, but if you didn't mind, you wouldn't be mentioning it here. This is boastful bragging, and to even mention any financial amounts I agree. It's not respectful, not Christian. Yeah, he can say I offered, which normally that will be tacky, but we get it. But explaining the amount, and I want to say even saying that they try to pick the top and you say, hey, whoa, 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 I wouldn't say. But I get why that has been said, and I think that it could have enough relevance for him to mention it without being scrutinized, because he's saying he offered, and he, you know, um, extended that branch when the whole time they saying totally different things about him. So I can see that part. Okay, I can see that part. Just the money part, him mentioning a price is insane. He could have said it was significantly more, because this is just patterns of personality and actions that they're laying out. But again, everybody come with receipts except for you, JP. Okay, you and, I'm going to say Johnny somewhat. It's easy to clarify the statement based upon what I saw from the daughter. It's not that hard. They spoke the first time around that time, but it wasn't the first time they spoke about what happened. The man answered the question that he was asked. If you don't mind, you wouldn't. Okay, I read that. Does your lawyer scream at you in your voicemails for doing these videos and sending you listen, the lawyer can, but if he continues to be extremely difficult, the lawyer may have grounds to, self-terminate, to request out, to opt out, because you got to reject those cookies, baby. Reject them. All right, they're gonna be a thorn in your side. Who's gonna want to try to be known for I guess you could say, high profile case that you really don't have the possibility of winning, because your client is doing all this Spider-Man shit. I find Spider-Man to be corny as always have. And, JP around here shooting webs and shit and trying to climb them. And then he like, oh, the web ain't strong enough? Like, is this real web? I thought I had real web. Let me shoot it again. You gotta keep trying. So, funeral homes should have disinfectants and embalming, etc. That's cruel for him to say that. No funeral home is gonna have a dead body smell. The baby, she don't got no business being in the funeral home. She's supposed to be getting cremated. Cremation usually skips all that. Maybe a family, some of the family can come in and see you right quick before that happens, but generally nobody gets to see you. And you don't just hang out at the funeral home if you're due for cremation. In fact, I believe there's laws against that. Okay? I'd like to know why he is still wearing his wedding. Oh, child, that's the question I had too, Pat. I hope he answers it. If he's dating other people, dang. I said that too. You know what I mean? So hopefully, JP, you can answer that for us. Said it's just for the video to continue his pick. Oh, dang. Come on now. He trying to paint. And he lay with her for 4 days, and he tried raising her from the dead. But after 3 days, the body starts to smell, right? Right. Amongst other things. I mean, have you ever been near, much less touching, and untreated? Like, we gotta keep that in mind, in forefront. Untreated corpse while it's deteriorating. Have you? I lay with it. So it says this has been debunked that he did not, but he said it right, and the funeral home debunked it correct. What, that he lay with her? They're not gonna tell nobody they let him do that. I honestly don't believe he did. Said stop saying wife. She was his wife. That's right, Tracy. I gotta give you your props on this one. Tracy says she was his wife. You're offended. She was his wife. If they weren't divorced, she was his wife. I don't see why the family wants to change her last name. But it could be some things I'm overlooking. It could be that they don't want him to be able to profit further off of the Miller being attached to him as Miller. And that puts another formal display of Heck yes. They were separated. They weren't even together. However, the woman was married to the man when she passed. That was her legal name when she passed. You got to go through hoops to get changed that in real life while you're here. But for you not to even be here and somebody want to call themselves changing her name, they're going to be like, man, if you don't go sit your butt, we get you grieving. But, yeah. I don't. Just to poke at John, I could see that. But, yeah. I don't see any other reason. Said they had marital problems, they had family involvement. People go through stuff a lot. A lot of stuff. Marriages make it through hard stuff. And his isn't a Chris Watts thing. Tracy, you doing too much because, baby, you wasn't there. Unless you got something you want to tell us. You can't know this for this much of a fact. No, you just want to, what? Lithium. Oh, yeah, that's right. He did say that was their drug of choice. Said, I know more about lithium than most. What's the reason you and Micah both took that particular drug? Oh, damn, Tracy. Okay, you're JP. At this point, I'm thinking you're JP. Why don't we address the father's comment where he claims a doctor told her she could take half of it? Why don't we address that since you know so much? Maybe if he was prescribing her a method to wean off, he would say that. Because she would start to smell, what the hell? He has no soul. What? Because he said the truth? That don't make no sense. It's a deteriorating body. The law is not going to allow you to just hold the body because you want to or because it's an inconvenience to get it done right away. They only going to give you a max amount. I mean, y'all can look this up. I don't know what the rules would be in South Carolina, but if it's gonna be cremated and there's nothing else to do here, that body gotta go in the incinerator. It's gotta burn, baby. Okay, it's gotta burn. It's not only just about the smell, but have you ever been around a rotten corpse, baby? I'm asking. It's not only about that smell. It's about the gases, the dangerous poisonous gases that emit from a rotting body. After a certain amount of days, it starts to get more and more powerful. And yes, it could make you very sick, and it can KILLU. Something is wrong with y'all. That's why I say y'all don't need to comment on everything. Say the cheap stuff to hold Michael's ashes. I would not want to put my loved one's ashes in cheap stuff, see? Most people feel that way. I don't think he had to say it like that, but he did in his true fashion. It was so condescending and rude, disrespectful. He could have said, well, why would they want to pick the most expensive thing? Can you be more reasonable? I mean, I'm just trying to get you a basic care package here. You can get stainless steel. In a lot of the cases, it's even better than, the metals you're choosing. Depending on what you got going on. Just saying. How's the new tattoo doing? Wash with unscented soap. Put plenty of unscented lotion. Don't swim for a few weeks or that new ink will fade. Just saying. Somebody says a fake sticker. Temporary tat from Inkbox. Okay. Well, you didn't say Jack in is it Jack in the Box? The little caramel. Okay. Anywho, do you have proof of everything that you're saying? Because honestly, they have proof of the nasty text messages you sent them informing them of Micah's passing. And you are an attention seeker. Okay, let's just say his initial message was the nasty ones after he told them she passed away. So then he gonna double back and say, I got y'all. I'm splurging on this. And they already feel like he's the cause. And they already had this heated exchange, and they was just like, yeah, show me the money. Okay, last comment I'm going to read. In Rose says, we just want you to acknowledge your part in this. It seems to be everyone else is to blame but you. And you were a part of the problem, JP. Acknowledge it. So we'll see how long JP is going to go on with this. I might see y'all again tomorrow on this.